So, yes, hello and welcome to the extremely large and sprawling Empire of Aquitaine. Let's just check some things that, yes. My heir is heir to the Empire of Aquitaine. So, we are 99.7% threatening for some reason. Can't think what it is. So time ends in 1453, is that correct, Ben? I will one day remember this.
I think that's about right, yes.
I will one day remember this number, but it's... I'd like to point out that for an historian I am completely terrible with dates. So...
Yep. 1st of January 1453.
Right, so... let's go and look at the defensive pact situation. Oh look, everyone's part of the defensive pact situation. Except you guys. Who are you guys? Right, let's sit back to thingy. Here's you. Thank you. Right. Okay, you are the leader of the Kazakh revolt, and I don't have the casus belli against you. And I am so threatening that anyone in any defensive pact anywhere in the world will leap to go squish. For some reason.
Unless, of course, you're so powerful that you can squish all the defensive pacts simultaneously.
Nope, especially not. Not since I've only just come off my last major war. Right, okay, I think that's official. Until my threat has gone down or something has happened, I can't go to war with anyone unless I want to die.
Unless, of course, they're not in the defensive pact, which you currently...
Yeah, but everyone that I can go to war with sensibly is in the defensive pact. Right, anyway, let's go for a thingy. Let's also get... well, let's leave him fabricating claims in Venice. I mean, at least it's a good thing to go after. Whoa. Right, good old monkey on a stick. Oh, look, everyone's leaving the defensive pact, but I'm totally not taking advantage of this. Right, so one of my things has a feature that's just completed. Right, so... you're completely full. You're completely full. Split. You're completely full. Let's just have a look at the ledger of exciting things. So, Grand University of Bordeaux. I have the mausoleum at Halicarnassus, which is nice. That's good. Do I? Oh no, it's right, it's the Byzantine Empire. I have House of Wisdom, which is fully stocked up. Grand Key thingy, which I can't thingy. Bertrand is in progress, right. So, God's right. You. Oh, you're my daughter. Let's assign you a guardian. Oh dear, we're out of guardians. We're also out of some key vassals. Right, I guess you're just about good enough to Welsh claim Africa. Right, yes, obviously. Okay, so who the hell are you? Al-Harari,
They're actually within line of sight, so I might not forget about it. You might don't forget.
So you
Yes,
are...
that is a slight danger. Yeah.
You have 2 people and their pet hamster. Yeah, you have 2 people and their pet hamster, and you have declared war on me over Kurdistan. Excuse me, I'd just like to say you can try it if you like, but you'll be a giant otter. Although in this case, I think that the giant otter would definitely have more attack potential than you, with your 1 and a bit thousand men. Well, people. So, Mr. Bond, excuse me, let's find some sub-roles. Let's raise Wales. Let's turn down time a lot. Lots of people are leaving the defensive pact. Choose the option that doesn't like to be cruel. I already have good options for dealing with people who are also cruel. Actually, let's put me in charge of this army in the hope that I gain some traits. People joining the defensive pact again. Balance is restored in the force. Ooh, I've just got the silent cathedral at Regensburg. I assume this means that one of my inheritances worked.
Yeah. Sounds like it's in the Holy Roman Empire somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And that's surely the place where you play that kind of game.
Yeah. Aha. I've just inherited Bavaria. Well, my vassal has inherited Bavaria. Hooray! Excellent. Let's build a historical mural and split. Right, back to besieging this guy who has no common sense. None.
I noticed that the person who had no common sense was also not a member of the defensive pact.
I don't have a valid casus belli.
Right. All right, you can conveniently tell that even though you're still at war with them.
For once, yes. Also, he's not independent. He's actually part of Abyssinia,
Ah, right.
or a vassal state of Abyssinia.
Yes, that would explain it, of course. So he doesn't need to defend against you, he's got someone to do that for him.
Yes. Oh dear, omens surrounding my wife's pregnancy are terrible. Well, hopefully I'm misinterpreting things. Let's sit here outside the 6.5 fort going, this is very boring. Let's make the lights flash a bit faster on the ground so absolutely nothing is happening in this war. Except possibly there's like 1,500 people walking across the desert to try and get to Kurdistan. I have no idea what the AI thought it was playing at.
I mean, there are times when doing this would make sense, like when last game you were in the middle of 10 home wars simultaneously. It's an excellent time to go, oh look, I've got a claim on one county that belongs to Aquitaine. I bet they won't notice if I take it.
Hmm. But no, they decide to wait till now, when I'm
have
not...
nothing else to do with your hundreds of thousands of troops.
Except recover most of them, while I leave like 7,000, what I did start off with 7,000 of them. Of course, one thing I could still just about do with the all the defensive pacts is possibly blitzkrieg out single counties.
Yes.
And it has to be single counties. They pretty much have to be adjacent to stuff I already have, preferably stuff I already have that's next to a territory where I can raise a large army, so that I can just drop an army, drop 7,000 or 10,000 people in there, besiege a single county, and fuck off out again. Also relies on there not being too many holdings there. This would be a terrible one to do because there's 5 holdings. Got a good old telegon in there. Right, let's try for Pride goeth before a fall. Right, there we are. Come on, win your goddamn siege. Seriously, everyone's drawing the defensive pact against me, having left it, and now they're rejoining on account of the fact that my army levies are going up and up and up. My family situation. I have plenty of children, so I can maybe squeeze a bit more piety out. So let's try some pleasure actually, because I might have kinstotes that improve the impressiveness of Aquitaine. Come on, squeeze the last few defenders out. You can do this. It's perfectly possible. Right. Another 6.5 forward. Fine, I'm going to sit here and call you a stoat. Come on, just give up already. I haven't even managed to get any troops to Kurdistan. Yeah. You're useless. I'd just like to point that out. Alright. Oh dear. Okay, well I seem to have an especially violent bishop. Let's take our especially violent bishop and make him a commander. Whoever she is, she can marry her betrothed. Right. Technology. Let's invest in some improved keeps. Let's wander off to Northland. What are you doing there? Let's dismiss that fleet. Right, knob on. Right, we can build some castle fortifications, which will take us up to a 10.2 fort. Just in case any fool thinks of trying to invade us. Right, 100% war score. Release the otter with an extremely sarcastic note saying, "Really, why did you even bother?" Ooh, excellent. One of my viceroys has declared holy war. Excellent. This is exactly the kind of thing I'd like to see from my vassals. Haha! Inherited some more stuff. Now got let's disband you, zoom in and disband you. So let's go to our good old friend, the Defensive Pact map. Oh look, that's still looking terrible. In fact, it's looking strictly worse than it was last time, because all the bits on the border have joined the Defensive Pact. Well, that's a bit of a stoke then, isn't it? I might have to wait for my threat to decline. Right, that doesn't border on my territory. Yeah, maybe we're better off waiting for time to pass and people to be a bit less worried by me. I mean, I might just have to wait till the end of time now, on account of the fact that I have been, active in the thing. That's not what I want to look at. I want to look at whether there's anything good I can build. 10.25 fort in Narbonne now, which is a bit on the scary side. I mean, Constantinople has a fort level of 16 though, which is a castle. Castle walls 1 to 5, castle fortifications 1 to 3, Theodosian walls 6, and castle fortification 4. So, apparently we can hold the summer fair again. Let's hold the summer fair again. Let's get a claim on the Grand City of Venezia. Let's just also try and get a claim on relic tomb has been built. Let's build a giant cross to get some benefit from the same religion. Excellent. So, let's see if there's anyone we can release from prison for a cost, of course. And let's lose 10 prestige. I don't really care about courtiers running off and getting married. Oh yes, my thingy has proselytised successfully. So let's get him proselytising out there with some heretics. We had a great summer fair, wasn't it nice? Ooh, I've had a daughter. have put it for a while. So, you are a random kinstote. You have a hair lip, but you're a genius. Let's try and find you a spouse. Let's assign you a guardian. It's going to be you. Right, you're trying to convert me to Catharism? No, thank you. Let's demand she abandons her vile heresy. We can hold a feast. Let's hold a feast. Jongleurs in. Send out our marshal to try and stab a boar. Nothing can possibly go wrong with this. It'll be completely fine. Let's spend lavishly on food. Ah, the Pope has died. Long live the Pope. Oh, we're getting all the "no, I can't stand to be in your castle" messages. Mostly from people who don't like me very much. Right, let's spend money on repairing Stonehenge. We have a feast. Let's dance in a quadrille. Let's attack for my life. Can't really afford to build anything more on the mausoleum right now, on the grounds that I have no money. And there's not going to be a crusade because right. You're extremely dull. Let's not show her the private chambers. 3% threatening, so still all the defensive pacts will band together, and I don't think I'm that strong. In fact, I know I'm not that strong. Yeah, I've got 141,000 troops, which is a lot, but not enough to take on everyone else in the world, because no one has left, well, not quite everyone, but you know, at least 3 empires. I have inherited Thuringia. I need to remember where Thuringia is. Oh, of course, yes, it's a titular thing. So let's find least cheered major vassal. And make them Viceroy of Thuringia. Right, let's go. And do the same for Valentia. There. Ah! Bollocks! I accidentally pressed the wrong button and became Cathar.
Well, that was okay.
Excuse me. I just need to abandon my heresy. Ow. Stokes. Don't do that again. I suffered a small mouse error. I was trying to go for the next one down, which is persuade thingy not to do the thing. But I suffered a small problem. Let's try holding us up fair. How much money do I need to create an empire? It's 1,000, isn't it? No, okay, it's 300 gold and 400 piety. Right, okay. Right, let's try and have a virtuous son. I'm sure this is going to go just fine. Right, piss off my mare for... Right, we had a good summer fair, wasn't that nice? You lack a guardian. Oh, you're also my son. Alright, well, let's assign you a guardian. probably me. Let's assign you and try and get you betrothed to someone. Like her. So we want a new commander, we say. Right, let's invite you to court. Major council positions, proselytize. Thank you for saying my truce with the Queen of Microbe is expiring. However, pretty sure she's still part of the defensive pact. Oh look, mysteriously she's part of the Christian defensive pact against me for some reason. I can't think what it would possibly be. Let's not hold a feast this year. I'm not feeling very festive. Her income's not doing badly. Let's not hold us on fire this year, which is a silly thing to do. Oh, we've converted Benghazi to Catholicism. I'm sure that would have solved a lot of problems. How's that threat? Still terrifying. Excellent. It's not those. Minor titles, that's what I want. A little bit of minor title fiddling. No one's leaving the defensive pact. My plan is in 1452 is to go and make as many of the titles that can be created that are left as I can, and get the prestige for them. Excuse me, you've declared a Fraticelum uprising. Hello, welcome to. Excuse me while I explain in excruciating detail where you went wrong. Right, I'll deal with the Kingdom of the Patchin Eggs once, and this is important. I've dealt with the stupid Fraticelum uprising. Oh, I'm terribly sorry. Was there a rebellion there I didn't notice? Right, oh, my marshal has snuffed it. Alright, you're my next marshal. Okay. And in our barn. Right. Okay, you've declared yourself to be Duke of the Isles. Well, that's fine. So Gorist to the Empire. Oh yeah, I need to do something about Kingdom of the Patchin Eggs. I just, first of all, I need to remember where it is. So, list bond. Okay. Let's go on a quick vassal fettling exercise. Can we find someone in Ireland who's not a heretic? Yes, you'll do. So, you like Narbonne, it's my capital, you're not getting it, fucker. I came out of Kingdom of Valencia approximately 5 minutes ago. What happened? Very devious vassal fettling. I demand the abandon heresy, do not, and this is important, oscillate back and forth like a confused ocelot. Right, I think we have some fairly fettled vassals. Oh, I can store a relic. Go on, let's store a relic. Let's store a nail of the true cross in there. It's not like there aren't 18 million of the buggers. You're a terrible marshal. How dare you suggest anything, not because you're the wrong gender, but because you are in fact a terrible marshal. Let's do a brief check of my major advisors and see. Okay, it's you. Fine. You're a very good chancellor, so I don't care. So it's 1445. Let's make my child gregarious. Let's go commander shopping again. Right, you are now. Ooh, I've got a new little bit in the middle of the Byzantine Empire. Isn't that nice? That's free. Ooh, excellent. Fighting Sweden is good. We like it when you fight Sweden. Basically, that's the only way we can expand sensibly at the moment, given that our threat is still, it's under 90% now, but that doesn't mean I can go to war against a defensive pact. Ooh, the Holy Roman Empire has a Kaiserin. That's nice. And we have 60,000 people all on their own. So, yeah. And I could take them in a war on my own, on their own, easily. But they have mates is my problem. Although I'd really like to take Syria. But, you know, people are actually joining the defensive pact, not leaving it, so... yeah. Of course, the thing is, you start getting quite a lot of ticking prestige once you've got lots of great works. As you can see, all those little bits add up, and all the vassal kingdoms. I even get a fair order of digging piety from these things as well. So, I find it quite amusing that, the places that Aquitaine should have got to, viz. Sicily and Jerusalem, we really, really haven't. Got to lots of other places, but crucially, not my other son. Go on, let's betroth you to a Duchess of Sicily. Right, shall do. Oh no, I have a heretic as one of my advisors. Oh, let's have a summer fair. Oh dear, I'm ill. Welcoming the peasants. So let's have a look at you versus my current heir. What is my current heir? My current heir is basically in pretty much always inferior. Let's see if we can nominate a successor. What is less terrible? Well, let's see what that does. Okay, right. Good. Good archer that stoat. Right, let's read the Fraticelli Bible. Might as well land my unlanded son. There we are. You get this county, it does. Right, not going to become a Fraticellum. Can't build anything much on account of the fact that there's not really time and also whatever. It's a bit low on cash, really. I'm not ill anymore, hooray! Isn't that great? Let's just check we don't. Hey, you really like me. Why are you supporting his claim for anything? Transfer Duke to Toulouse under you, probably, of course, because it's de jure part of France or something, and which it has been because it was in France for so long, and I can't do anything with that. Let's hold a feast. Hello, you are now Viceroy of Wales, new King of Africa, and something terrible has happened to my Chancellor, possibly. He's one of the people that's just snuffed it. Okay, alright, my dear son. Oh dear. Sabotaged building, holding in more bomb. Well, let's spend lots of money on food. Right, let's send out the invitations. The I hate you letters are coming in. Right, let's demand that she abandon her vile heresy. Hooray, I thought she did that already. Down Master of the Hunt. And a high almoner. Everyone's enjoying the fire. Eaters. That's nice. Don't want to claim on a county, let it go. Actually, I probably did want to claim on a county. State. Thank you for saying truces are expiring until defensive pacts expire. It's not going to be much good, is it? Let's paint an iconic painting. Right, who are you? Random kin state. Let's assign you a guardian. We can use up the Kingdom of Persia. Well, I think we should use up the Kingdom of Persia. Alright, and hello. You're now Viceroy of Persia. Now I need a new Spy Master. Now I need to go Spy Master shopping. Right. Stab, stab, stabbity stab. Right, let's invite you to court. After you have studied technology in, you'll be totally shocked to know, Constantinople. Right. I'm below 85% threatening, but I still have a way to go. Let's try and make... Oh good, we've made ballast of all kind. Oh dear, something's happened to the King of Navarre. Where's Navarre? Oh, it's titular jobby, right. Let's find my most pissed off vassal. Right, that will probably help. Right. So you only are one of my daughters, right? Okay, we can't get you a good matrilineal marriage. Let's marry you to the Khan of Tartaria. I think that sounds fun. And let's assign you a guardian. So, you look like a revolt. You are a revolt, and I don't have a casus belli against you, you pestilential stoked hamster. Right, there's an Abyssinian revolt, which I don't have a casus belli against. Novgorodian revolt that I don't have a casus belli against. And a Banjo revolt, which I don't have a casus belli against. Fine, I can take a hint. Right, I can use up this duchy. Let us use up this duchy. That's down to 2 held duchies, that's going to be okay. Right. So the advantage of some nice aggressive vassals who are pushing forward the frontiers of Aquitaine, while I sit here going la 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 ward. Hey, more people are joining the defensive pact. Not fair. I think we just got Samarkand, wherever Samarkand is. It's nice. Yeah, what the defensive pact against me? So the fact that truces are expiring means nothing. Right, let's try to stop drinking. I might become unwell, but I've got good airs, so I'm not that bothered. So how are our things doing? I've inherited the Kingdom of Portugal. Woo-hoo. Right, let's go and find Portugal. You're Portugal. Can we find someone in Portugal who's not like 300 years old? No. Can we find someone in Portugal who's not 300 years old and is also perhaps maybe Christian? Yes, right. Excellent. Ooh, I've stopped being drunkard. I'm now temperate. It's probably progress. It's probably because I've built one of those things. Oh dear, I'm not kind anymore. So. My threat's gone up a bit because of my encroaching vassals. Right. Well, my guys have declared war on the Tugrulid Sultanate. What's left of it? Which admittedly is not nearly as much as it was, but you know. Peasants of Frost are slowly starting to respect my rule again. I should never let my treasury go negative. I haven't let my treasury go negative for like several hundred years. I mean, I briefly dipped below 2,000 gold. Right, no problem at all with granting the Viceroyalty of Ireland to the Duke of Ulster. It's going to be completely fine. Hey look, your truce is expiring against you, but you're part of the defensive pact for some reason. Oh, I've got a new king of Egypt. Isn't that nice? Hey, people joining the defensive pact against cheating. Let's go on a grand hunt. We haven't been on a grand hunt for a bit. Let's hunt the white stoat again, like we did last summer. Let's spare its majesty and get a kind trait. On the grounds that was kind of useful. New dukes to break in. I've actually given my cupbearer's job to a child. I know, it's nice when it works out there. Just check that all the places that... Oh my god! Oh my god! There's somewhere that I've got a claim on that's not in the defensive pact. Oh my god, right, my small problem is I have no idea.
Choose. I know, because he's young.
Yeah. Right. So we'd be going for those two counties up there as part of this.
In the middle of nowhere.
In the middle of nowhere. But right, let's do it. Oh, I'm in a non-aggression pact, so I can't. Fine, that's why he's not part of the goddamn defensive pact. Because even though he's 8 million miles away. We can go to war with these guys and claim a single county. It's fine, I have some troops that are only like 8 million miles away. Let's do this. Let's claim the thingy. Let's also land Mr. What's-his-face. Turn down time a bit. Go. Right. So I need to keep an eye on time to make sure that I do important things like remember to create the Empire of Britannia before the end of time. But crucially, I want to do it towards the end of recorded time because otherwise there could well be a succession problem. Okay, my vassal levy has been raised too long. This is my surprised face. I keep being shocked by my having a heretic as one of my advisors. I don't think it's going to change anything. La. Can't think why, we'd be unlikely to go for this. This county that's 8 million miles away from Belgium, 8 million miles away from anywhere that is anywhere. Although I guess this uses up some of the war start time, but unless I finish it militarily, I can't wait for time on this one. Let's settle down and find out where we're going to be besieging. Where are we besieging? Oh, excellent. Alright. Let's assault the holding. Let's walk to the next holding. Still These we just need to work out. Where it's sensible to go next. So sensible. I mean, none of this is very sensible. Try and assassinate someone who's after my titles. Well, trying to assassinate someone with a claim on my titles didn't work fantastically. Oh look, people are drawing the defensive pact against me. No idea why that is. None at all. Not one. Okay, let's deal with the fact that it's January and get out of these freezing provinces quick. Realising that I've picked entirely the wrong goddamn route, given what's happening. States. If I'm really lucky, I'll have someone left to besiege things at the other end of it. Oh well, states. I think that's something that's still sensibly assaultable. Once I've had a bit of time to think. Ooh, no, let's actually go and try fighting the army. Let's go with that. Okay. And I'm getting tremendous ticking war score now because I'm occupying, of course, all of the target thingy. When I say tremendous, I'm getting quite some. So we have about 18 months before we want to create some more more empires. Unpause because mysteriously time doesn't pass when you're paused. Let's nip over Lake Cyan. Sorry. Don't really know where we are. Okay, yes. Do 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 squack. Actually, it's actually not back over there. It's a lot more useful. State. Excellent. So. We're at 90% on the old war score. Right, let's sneeze at that fort. Let's go on a little stroll over there. Ooh, let's use up this satrapy. Yoink. That's 3 duchies. Let's take us down to 2 duchies again. %war score. Right, let's make my little child honest. While we wait for our army to slug its way across the plains of wherever that is. Mongolia. %. Are we actually going to get to the next county before we hit 100%? I think we are, because we're now movement locked. But it's 6.5 fort. Let's say over here, you're 5.5 fort. So there's you. You're locked. And you're going back to Ailing. So, 100% war score. Release the otter. The otter. Otter. Right. Off you go to Om. I'm not going to be able to do any more wars now because I've got a small problem that it's going to take me a while to get my people back to this small patch of Aquitaine. It's still the nearest patch of Aquitaine. By the time I've done that, there's not going to be time to win a war before the end of time. That's back my right back up to 95%. I only won one county, but it was against quite a big opponent, at least in theory. Right. We can invest in some more technology. Let's invest in some legalism. Let's invest in some construction. Oh look, people drawing the defensive pact against me. This is my surprised face. Everyone that's left is joining the defensive pact against me for some reason. All those people that thought Mongolia was too far away. Wow. Oh, we can form the Kingdom of Transoxania. Let's do the thing. My follow-up question is, where the hell is Transoxania? Okay, there's Transoxania. Hello, do you want to be King of Transoxania? No, brilliant. Hello, you are now. Because it saves me trying to deal with the inheritance problem. Right, let's get sympathy for Muslim religions, which will piss off all the zealous people in my realm, but whatever. I feel like I should encourage religious pluralism in game, even as I go around converting everybody, because there's such a huge penalty for hooray, right. After several months you've arrived in we can disband you. But that leaves us with 6 months till the end of the year. So let's hold a summer fair while we wait. Make the pedants happy. Happy pedants. Right, good old monkey trainer. Bribe the guy that's trying to manufacture a claim on my holdings. I have another son, my lord. Right. Oh, you're an unlanded son, are you? Well. Grant you Azerbaijan. Right, now I'm over my vassal limit. Right, fine, let's go and see if we can find any vassals that think that fine. Right, that's got me under my vassal limit. And we had great fun at summer fair. Woohoo! And revolving bishops as per usual. Right, let's go on a grand hunt. I will find the white state. Let's try and actually stab the white stag. It's a laugh in it. Let's try hunting the stag. Right, let's try and stab the bear. Hurrah. Right, so it is 5th of November 1452. I think it's time to do some creating of empires and duchies that still remain. Let us create the Empire of Britannia. Rule on Britannia. Yoink. Right, let's create the Duchy of Thingy. The Duchy of Thingy. And the Duchy of what's name. Right. Now let's go and find my vassals. And find all the ones that want the duchies that I've just created. Well, he designs the Empire of Britannia. You know what I can say to that? Piss off. Scotland wants the Empire of Britannia too. This is my shocked face. Right. Oh bugger, something's happened to my Chancellor. Well, let's put him new one improving diplomatic relations somewhere. Right, let's nominate a new successor. Inheritance. fall in love with my wife just before the end of time as we know it. That's nice. Right, so my score is 167,988. So again, even without gratuitously abusing the save unsave metric, I have blown House Capet out of the water.
And despite starting quite late as well.
Yeah, I mean I started after 1066, so I did start very late. So it is possible to do quite well even without cheating. So the Renaissance sweeps across Europe and the feudal era draws to a close. With the score of this, you beat House Capet, descended from Robert the Strong, who was a power figure during the reign of Charles the Bold. His descendants would be kings of France in 1066. Although by 1322 the main line would die out, the cadet branches still ruled in 1337 as kings of France, Portugal, Naples, Hungary and Navarre. Cadet branches also hold the duchies of Brittany, Burgundy, Bourbon, Provence and Achaia. One further cadet branch would hold the dignity of emperor as Latin emperors of Constantinople, truly the greatest dynasty of medieval Europe. Since we had Duchess Aliena, or the Lady of Aquitaine, which got nearly 4,000 prestige. Then we got Vicereign Moffeta of Aquitaine, who got more than her. Vicereign Loira the Cruel with 12,000. Emperor Puditz the Hammer with 20,000. Telegon the Wicked with 14,000. Père the Wise was a bit useless. Empress Aliena Ironside with 23,000. Balizor the Wise with 13,000. Telegon the Glorious with 25,000. And Gautier the Holy with 22,000. And just now Bertrand the Just with 17,000. So that's all pretty respectable. So there we go. I'm going to quit to the menu and go to the loo and shall contemplate whether or what to do for my next game. So, let's have a look. So I think my available options here are to play as Athelflaed, Lady of the Mercians, which I think should be possible, with the sort of one of the early starts with this. I think you looked up Athelflaed. I think she was possible. Or I can, I think, play as a pagan tribe with the old gods expansion. Are there any other interesting starts that I can get, given the state of my DLC?
So yeah, I think you have. We'll look at where.
I suppose another potentially interesting start could be Athelred. Athelred the Unready. To see if we can have him not being overthrown by a bunch of Vikings. Could play as Iceland. Or a duchy in Iceland, or even a county in Iceland. Does anyone on the stream have any strong opinions? Are you looking up when Athelflaed was and so on?
Not yet, but
Okay, thank you. It's back.
I was quickly scanning through the pagans.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting that they start the Viking Age in 867 AD, rather than with the sacking of Lindisfarne in 793 or whenever it is AD. Sadly, I can't play as the Reaper, the tribe that inhabited the area around Repton and hence Derby at the start of the Viking Age. I can see it would be a bit more challenging to play as someone who's not a Christian. For several reasons. One, of course, there might be valid crusades against you. And two, of course, you don't benefit from the crusades at all. Because towards the end of that, of course, what I was basically doing was bankrolling myself with the crusades and building myself things that got me lots of prestige.
Yes. Yes, so I have at least tracked down Athelflaed's dates. If I get the number, which means I can find out where it was.
So, I think absent any suggestions that can possibly be passed to Ben, who might have a terminal open.
Pink Beast has said, Iceland, it's nice and warm and they've got a thing.
It's nice and warm, they've got a thing. Okay.
Dr. Slowly says, it's true, it go bubble.
I see that as a reply to my not watching news comment rather than your comments, but fair enough.
Can't tell. Insufficient data.
Yeah, Verity was mentioning Iceland. So,
Yes.
Okay.
Right, well, I think that...
So Athelflaed starts as the holder of a single county.
Oh, bless. Right, so my plan, I think, is to thus, if there's Iceland, is to go to the Viking Age and see what Icelandic related things I can start as. I might have to start a bit later than 867, but let's go and see. Right, Viking Age.
If you start, under some circumstances, there's actually an action of settle Iceland. Right. Athelflaed holds a county for 1 year.
Right.
There is 1 year you can start in if you want to play as Athelflaed.
Right, okay.
916.
Right, well, currently. So, I can start as a Jorvik Viking. I can't even remember where Holmgarder is. Charles the Bald, Ludwig. Right, you're all boring. Let's go for custom game setup.
Right, there's like a little comment that there's adapting history.
Vzd. So I can either start as Garðar of Norðland or as Ingolfur of Vestisland. Well, I think I should start as Garðar of Norðland.
And you might want to try selecting them and see what things you can find out about them, if any.
So the independent Norse Germanic, and they're very hard.
I mean, that's probably not. You've
Yeah.
so far ended up just conquering Europe, so
Yeah. Yes.
I mean the tricky thing early on is making sure that your line doesn't die out.
Yeah, and then that you don't become Cathar at a point when people can squash you.
Well, happily, you're in no danger of accidentally becoming Cathar, given you start as a Germanic pagan.
This is certainly true,
So
though I'm going
what's
to have other problems.
So, and the other realm there, Vestisland, what was he?
Vestisland.
So he starts out a little bit. Younger, but he's otherwise he looks younger.
Let's see.
Pretty similar.
Yeah. So he's 41 and he's 27. I like his beard. Vikings should have beards.
Right. So you're going to start as a 41-year-old who possibly has no children.
It's the one. So we get Norse culture, Norse unit. Hooray! Right. Okay. Let's press play then. What could possibly go wrong?
Well, you die. You're
Yeah.
41 years old. You're living in Iceland in the
Right.
9th century.
How do we turn on Ironman mode? Cannot manually save the game. Well, at some point I will try it in Ironman mode. But presumably this means that basically you have to stop at year boundaries. Or lose your
I think
progress.
you may be able to save and quit, but not save.
Right, yes.
In other words, no saves coming, but I'm not sure.
Well, let's try turning that on. Let's find out what it does, you know. I'm not that attached to Garðar at this point, you know, so if I stuff this up I don't really care. Right, achievements enabled, let's stick to the game. Right. Okay, yes. I think that's fine, save name. Right. Yeah, all of that's... Right, Norse Germanic. So I can raid overseas with ships. Not sure what raiding does. Might have to get you to look this up in the wiki.
I have some experience of raiding from my East African adventure.
So I can raid infidel neighbours for loot, and I can raise runestones. I'm going to have to give that a go.
Yeah, that one I haven't got experience of from East Africa.
No, but obviously we need to find out how to do this, because obviously I need to leave runestones around. This is clearly very, very important. I think this is, extremely important. So, tribes are settled but agrarian. Each county can have only one tribal holding representing the entire local tribal population. The more empty holding slots, the more powerful the tribal holding. Tribal rulers are most often seen using the elective Gavelkind succession law, which tends to fragment the realm between sons on the death of the chief. It's not strictly true, but okay. Well, certainly not for Norse ones anyway. Can hold tribal and fort holdings without penalties, can build temple, tribal and fort holdings. I use prestige to build tribal holdings, that's a bit exciting. And obviously I can call my tribal government vassals to arms instead of using liege levies. I don't get any vassal tax. Tribal dynasties may go decadent if the religion allows it.
I think that's probably not an issue
for pagans. Yeah, rulers can raid infidel neighbours for loot. De jure law effects are ignored. That's okay. Male rulers can take up to 3 concubines. Well, I'm not going to be doing that because this is not something that is approved in a Norse culture, so fair. Can move capital within the same lifetime every 600 months. Can't grant kingdoms and empires to characters with a government from a different group. Can reform to feudal, Icta and merchant republic governments. So I could, of course, turn myself into...
You can't become Icta or merchant republic with the DLC you've got.
Oh well, feudal it is there. In the early Middle Ages, the ancient Germanic belief system is still dominant in Scandinavia and northern Germany. A pantheon of gods under the wise warrior god Odin or Wodan reaches all branches of the world tree Yggdrasil. The other 2 main gods are Thor, friend to mankind, and Frey, god of fertility. Okay, that's quite wrong. That's really quite wrong. It's quite hard to... Yeah. Let's just say it's entirely possible that Thor was the dominant one of the gods. It's possible that this was a much more along the Greek and Roman lines, where Zeus is the Thingy are the thunder gods, and thus the dominant one. It is entirely possible that the reason we think Odin is dominant is because of a Christianizing effect, because Odin has some things that you are more easily able to bend to a Christian tradition, in particular his no association with wisdom, although that's actually pretty sarcastic given that he lost his eye for being bloody stupid about this. Also, there's very few sites that have that much evidence of worship of Odin as a lead god. I mean, there are some sites that are Odinic, but there's lots and lots of places where you find Thor's hammers, and Thor is the dominant god. And you're missing out a bunch of other people, but I'll deal with that. So, rulers cannot divine conversion, that's interesting. Priests can inherit titles, priests can marry, yeah. Religion allows women to own temple holdings, fairly weak rulers can prepare invasions. Fleets can navigate major rivers. Ooh, that's exciting.
Curious, but that's a religious consequence.
Yeah, that should really be a... Yeah, but anyway.
Norse culture.
Yes, rulers can raid infidel neighbours for loot, which I get thus for, lots of different ways. Vassals do not mind if their levies are raised, except I don't have vassals as such. Allegedly we can take up to 3 concubines, we really can't. Non-pagans with low tech have a very low supply limit in Germanic countries. So, rulers lose prestige if at peace for too long. They can be reformed. There is and can exist no religious head. Women may hold spymaster positions, inferior at conversion. Rulers cannot declare holy wars. So I think an interesting challenge here, an interesting potential challenge here, is to try to convert to Christianity in the year 1000. Because that's pretty much when it happened. Right, so... right, I'm married, that's good.
You even have a son.
I even have a son. My son is currently my heir. Excellent. That's all pretty good. So, don't have... Right. I'm allowed to eat... I'm just going to ban myself from leading armies on the grounds that, frankly, I should not be allowed out.
So, remember, you are not... The threshold for is a decent commander is a lot lower now.
Yes.
It's still higher than 1.
It's higher than 1. My threshold for a decent commander setting out is it over 8?
Yes.
Successor nomination. Right, let's nominate my son.
Not that it matters very much because you don't have any. You are the only voter.
Yes. Right, let's try and arrange him a marriage. Right. So he's got like some skills in some things. Right, I think I'm going to invite the Spy Master of Man to marry my son. I need to pick an ambition. What's my ambition? So I can try to become King of Norway, which is a bit entertaining. Become wealthy, become a paragon of virtue. Become exalted among states, have a daughter, improve martial ability. It's tricky. I've got a son. Let's try and improve my martial ability on the grounds that I could really do with that. I have no idea how feasible it is to try and become King of Norway. Okay, let's have a look at positions. Do we have anyone at all who's better as Chancellor? Lol, no. Our Marshal is pretty pathetic, but is also the best we have. Our Steward is astonishingly competent. My Spermeister is pretty shit.
But maybe you can appoint your son's new wife if she turns up.
It's possibly a thing.
Was the Spy Master of Man?
Yeah. And as CRS, I can appoint my wife. My wife is less terrible at this. So, those are all the usual things there.
So, yes. There are a bunch of different, because you're tribal, you get a bunch of different things you can do here.
Yes, so my plan is to have a look at some of the other things that are generally available and then come back and try and allocate my troops. Because some of these seem to come with penalties, which is if I don't use my troops for things, they'll get pissed off and do things.
You need to be a bit cautious about the possibility of accidentally ending up with an annoyed army in your capital you can't do anything with.
Yes. Right, well, he's almost the right age. Count Court Volovar. For Volusbow, speaking of the seer. Law Speaker. Good. What's the Law Speaker meant to do? Memorises law of the realm. Yes. Prestige and responsibility. Let's maybe try and appoint someone with some learning. So, a skald. Need to have a trade poet. Okay. Marksman, standard bearer. Okay. Let's make my master to cheer them up. Right. Come on. Do I really want to put these people in? I guess I find out by doing this, discovering that everyone is terrible. Right. Let's... Just out of interest, let's see if... Let's go for any... Join court. Yes.
There are a total of 2 people who will be interested in joining your court.
Yeah, but... But, like, I think they're an improvement over some of them. I'm not going to take her as a concubine. Right, so... Right.
Well, once we'll switch to a view other than terrain.
It's true, let's switch to this one. So I have 496 people, and I have an alliance with my wife who has none. Right, okay. I have no vassals and 8 people in my court. So let's go and see how West Iceland is doing. Rather better than me. Right. So I think I need to work out ways of nicking bits of West Iceland in order to get anywhere. I'm not going to ban myself from leading armies on the grounds that it turns out I am possibly one of the least sturdy people here. Let's go and look at some of the other tabs. So we've got someone in thingy, we've got minimum tribal organisation.
Those have no effect at the moment.
Most of those have no effect. Technology.
You
Yeah.
can build chips.
I can build ships. Yes, I can build ships, but I
That's how
have
we got here.
about 2 people to put on them. Yeah.
So all your levies are your own.
Yeah. At the moment, intrigue. So, right, we can adopt feudalism.
But you have to go a fair way to
get that. I
use
don't.
absolute tribal organisation and a suitable capital.
I need to untick that as a goal anyway. I'm, you know, I will go feudal if I have to. So I can hold a great blot. What does this do?
That's a good question.
Alright, every 9 years we can offer sacrifice to the gods for good harvest and success on the battlefield. Right, and so we need to be at peace. It needs to be November, and we need to have enough cash to sacrifice some animals.
It's essentially the equivalent of a feast, but
Yeah.
for
But
tribal pagans.
more.
For Germanic tribal
Yeah.
pagans.
So Great Hunt is perfectly normal, except it costs more cash than we can manage. Those are all the perfectly normal things. Ooh, commissioned runestone. So let's mark that as an important thingy. Raise tribal army. So that loses a lot of prestige, but I get 2,500 people that I then have to.
You can only do it while you're at war.
Yes.
So this is very powerful when you're quite small and taking on quite small people, but
Yeah.
getting 500 because prestige is what you use to build things mostly as a tribal ruler. So certainly my experience is you bump along at around 0 prestige most of the time. Actually no, you do that and then you realise that having 500 prestige available for when you get invaded is really helpful.
Yes.
So
Religion. Right. We have no leaders. Holy Site of Mara. Hlithra at Uppsala, Hlithra, Sjálland, Tolan and Paderborn. Societies. There are no murdering societies, so... Which is actually my primary title, Norðland. So... We can spend 37 gold, which is nearly all our money, to upgrade to a market village to get some tax income and an increased retinue size. So, problem is that there's no real resemblance to your actual tax income.
I suspect it does come rather closer in this, where you're this close to things, but I think that number in particular is per year. Notice that most of the things there, though, don't cost money.
Indeed, they're costing me prestige.
Lots of prestige.
So yes, more than I can possibly imagine. Let's just check. Yeah. Right, what's it say? Right. And it's empty holding spaces that are good.
Yes.
In a
Right.
bizarre,
Yes. So
inexplicable
if you
way.
built something in that spare holding space, you would lose some of your people from the tribe because it would become a smaller tribe.
So Pharaohs is a legitimate target. Orkney is a legitimate target. So is Norðland, and now as we're getting south they're starting to get a bit... Nidaros might be okay. It's getting a bit scary. Right. So basically I can declare war on other pagans using subjugation. But I'm not going to have very long to do this before Norway probably Christianises. So Viken is actually properly scary. What about Finnmark? So, try going to war with Finnmark. What could possibly go right? They've only got 300 people. Okay, he's too distant to interact with. Fine. Not that distant, he's the other side of the bloody... Really? I could declare war with him, but not him?
Yep. Just slightly further away.
Really not. Okay.
Right. Yes, right. So you can only use subjugation once per lifetime. Unless you have become king ambition.
So what, I can subjugate precisely one ruler
Yes.
during my lifetime. Okay.
You may target all the land held in a de jure kingdom held by another pagan. So it's approximately the same effect as the same size as a crusade. You know, it takes an entire kingdom, but only the land in a de jure kingdom held by one other ruler. So actually, it's smaller because it's
You're going for, like, in this case, one county.
Well, you probably get both. I think that it looks like Malmadal has 2 counties in it. I think there's a line down the middle. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I think assuming they're both in the same de jure kingdom, the
Yeah.
subjugation war would
Take
get you
both.
both of them.
Except for the fact, of course, they're far too big and scary.
Well, yes, because you're in Iceland and you're tiny.
Yes. So I think I'm going to unpause. No, I need to set my council doing things. So, right. I have no idea how that even slightly works. I can't fabricate claims on Finnmark.
Too far away.
Too far away. Maybe fabricate the claim on the Pharaohs and see what happens. Right, so I can suppress. Right, let's just look at the revolt view. Currently, I don't need to worry about suppressing revolts. I can train troops, which will improve my levies size, and I can organise a raid. So the problem is increasing my levy size. I suppose increasing my levy size by 22% is going to be quite big at the moment, so I can do that, I suppose. Let's give that a go. So I can settle tribes to increasing the chances that everything becomes Norse.
So that's probably unhelpful at the moment. As in, I think you can only do it within your own territory, and all of your territory
is already Norse, yes. So I can oversee construction, which I don't want to do. Build legend,
which gets you prestige, but occasionally gets you an army, and the amount of prestige you lose if you don't use them is about what you gain by virtue of building a legend. So my general practice has been not to use my steward for anything unless I'm building things.
I need to try building legend because there's several places nearby.
Yes, I mean it may be that if the army is big enough,
that that are marginal and I can go and subjugate.
Yes.
So I might do that. So my spy master, I can do the usual to scheme to uncover plots. I can build my spy network, or I can study technology. Right, let's study technology. Where can we study technology? I think that Wiltshire is probably where I want to study technology. So, secrets. I can proselytise, which is going to be pointless at the moment. Improve religious relations or build zeal. And again, that's going to have the problem with raising armies that are potentially going to go
I don't think they're so harmful to have kicking around, mind. I mean, you lose priority, so like one thing I have found is that the warriors that you get out, the holy warriors, are actually, for most purposes, general purpose troops.
Mm-hmm.
You can perfectly well use them for something else, they just won't like it.
Yeah.
The awkward thing is you can't use them for joining somebody else's holy war, and I appreciate you're probably not in the same situation as I am, where everyone around you is holy warring and you're not big enough to do anything, but joining other people's wars is achievable. But it turns out they don't treat that as being... You can join somebody else's holy war, they don't treat it as being the thing that they were made for.
So I think one of the things I might do is change my ambition to become king. I can't do that for like some,
No,
for 3 years, but I think I will do that. I'm going to try building zeal on the grounds that, at the moment, if I'm going to do anything interesting, I need to build troops, and let's let time tick reasonably. So you're my courtier. Can we arrange you a nice marriage? Let's see. Can we arrange you a marriage? Let's oops. That wasn't quite what I meant to do. Oh well, stats. Let's go back over here. Let's have a quick look at that. So that's Dynasty's map. Somewhere there's the religion map.
Yes, note, of course, that things don't have crosses on anymore.
Yes.
For obvious reasons.
Yes. Not quite sure why I've got a Celtic knot, but let's not interrogate this too closely. So we have very small amounts of thing. We actually get quite an amount of prestige thing from whatnot. A piety game, but obviously that's going to be terrible because that's what we're mostly building things with. So the it's not bad. I have had worse as an emperor. So piety, we get some stuff. So, how are we doing? I'm up to 531 levies. Alright, 531 levies. How is Pharaoh's doing? Too well. Namadal is terrifying. Right, so I can go on a grand hunt. Let's not go on a grand hunt right now. That is something I can't really afford the prestige for. So 60% chance of stressed, 45% chance of diligent versus... Right, let's try and go for rest in heaven. That's a bit less terrifying. So you've got 484 people. I've got 537, and the terrain there is mountainous. Of course the terrain is mountainous. It's very important to know. What about Orkney? Orkney is hills, so it's not so absolutely terrifying. Northland is, of course, mountains. So I could really do with some more army. Unfortunately, people I have in charge of doing this are terrible. Okay, so right, I just have non-aggression pacts with people. Well, that's a thing. He's married. So now I know great works. Yes, I don't have a good sense for how my armies are going to grow and when they're going to grow. I assume what's likely to happen is that at some point an army randomly pops up and says, "Hello, I'm your army. Nice to meet you." And I go, "Okay, right, now let's go and find which of my nearest neighbours I can go and squash."
I think having higher marshal or higher state marshal at least will increase your navy size somewhat.
Yeah. I can't really improve my state marshal at all. I've got as much as I can get off my councillors, and my wife is much better than me. So much better than me that she still gives 2 towards our state marshal, which is 1 more than I can. Unfortunately, I'm stressed, which is great. And my personal wombat skill is -9. I'm trusting, which is -2, stressed -10, and I squeak back up with stubborn at +3. Well, this could be a really, really unexciting, exciting game. I can't even remember any Norse to recite for you. What I can tell you is that the mythology that we understand about Norse stuff is really very limited. We have some archaeological evidence for artifacts that are related to people like Thor and Odin and Freyr and Freya and various other people like that. The written mythology comes in 2 forms: the Elder Edda, or Poetic Edda, and the Prose Edda, or Snorra Edda, the Edda of Snorri the Priest. Now, in the Edda of Snorri the Priest, you may notice something important there, which is that it's written by a priest. The Elder Edda is in content much earlier, although it wasn't necessarily written down until later. There are linguistic traces that take it back to maybe the 9th or 10th centuries in places for some of the older poems. Snorra Edda is from like the 12th or 13th century, and please don't ask me which, by which time Iceland had been taken over by Norway, and there was a huge propaganda push on in order to assert Iceland as an independent entity and, relive the great glory days of the past. The other thing going on there with the Snorra Edda is that Snorri was a priest, and one of the things that it's possible he was doing was casting the Norse pantheon, and I realise those words are a hideous clash of cultures, into something that was perhaps more theologically acceptable or more easily bendable to something that sounded vaguely Christian. You get hints of a rather different pantheon in the older bits of the Poetic Edda, some of which Snorri quotes, but some of which he doesn't, such as Völuspá, the sayings of the seer, which I did translate at one point, but please don't ask me to now. And and we also read quite a lot of Snorra Edda as well. And there are some stories, of course, that we only get through Snorri, and that's going to be a little bit of a problem because we don't know how much he's transformed them. The evidence from things like Völuspá is that some things have got, folded, bent, mutilated and spindled into very many different shapes. And it's very difficult to reconcile this with other things. There are people that try and draw a direct line between the Norse paganism and Germanic paganism as described by Tacitus, where people were set fire in wicker baskets. It's a bit of a stretch. We do have some nice runestones which indicate some various gods and hints of things, and lots of nice snakes going around the edges of runestones. They're a very good decorative motif. These you don't find in Iceland, these you find in what we'd call modern day Denmark in particular, and I think a little bit in Norway. But please don't quote me on this because geography was never my strongest point. And of course, Iceland is notable for how it Christianized itself. It was a consensual decision when they brought the new religion, the people came proselytized, and then they asked the law speaker to sit down at the Althing, the Icelandic parliament as it were, and to make a decision on whether they would keep to the old ways or whether they'd convert. Right, it's now thingy. I can now choose a new ambition. Let's see if we can pick the ambition to become King of Norway, because that allows me to use unlimited subjugation. Unlimitedly subjugate. Let's try. Yeah, let's give it a go. I've been at peace for too long. Right, can we find anyone to go? So what do I lose now? 2 prestige every month.
Raiding as an activity.
Oh yes. So one thing, of course, I could do is try and. So can I
So raiding doesn't require declaring war.
Ooh.
You just turn up and do it.
So I raise my troops, I bus them over to the nearest place and go forth and set fire to things.
More or less, yes, only not in that order. Slightly conversely. You raise your troops, mark them as raiding troops rather than ordinary troops, and then you have to do that before they leave your territory, and then send them over somewhere, and of course, over somewhere could be your next door neighbour. But if your next door neighbour has more troops than you, your army might not last long.
Yes.
And then, yes, they will. When an army is set in raiding mode, it will, rather than it will start by looting the countryside, and then it will besiege the settlements in order to pillage them.
Mm-hmm.
And well, you've seen what this looks like from the victim side.
Yeah.
And essentially, you get money if you select a foreign territory somewhere.
Yes.
Then see the small pile of coins just below where you're currently pointing and to the left.
Yep.
Not that one.
Not that one.
Yes, but just
that one, yeah.
Okay, that's cap tax. Go down a bit. That bar
Yep.
says that you can get 1 loot just by turning up and hanging around for a bit,
Right.
and another 5 by besieging or by pillaging the tribe.
Yeah.
And so each that little wall on that bar chart indicates that at that point you will need to besiege something in order. Is essentially besieging in order to get further. And the fact that the bar is completely full means no one has looted it recently. So before you embark, you might be able to do it after embarking, but if you select an army, you notice that button. If you turn that on, if you click on that, they are now a looting army rather than a
attacking
warring army.
Yeah.
And so if they land somewhere, they will immediately start looting it. I have never tried raiding by sea. I think the rules are slightly more complicated in that I think you have to get the armies home to get the money.
Right. Well, this is going to be exciting. Yes, you've arrived in the North Atlantic. Let's now glue you together and ship you off to...
So yes, my experience is that when raiding you can get away with raiding quite large enemies if they are geographically large as well, because it will take them a little while to sort their armies out and get them over to you. So if you turn up with like 1,000 troops, they have to find themselves a 1,500 strong army before they can do anything about you. And as long as you leave before that 1,500 strong army reaches the county you're in, you win.
Yes. Although at the moment I don't win very much.
No. Right, so if you pause now and peer at that, the county you're in, so if you click on the bottom right button, the two arrows, so you can see that orange bar has started going down because I think you now have some of the loot from that county.
Right. But I'm going to have a small problem in that I can't besiege it because it's much bigger than me.
But you can once that orange bar gets down to the wall, you can walk to the next county.
It's true. Although some of them get a bit scary.
Yes. It depends, of course, on the next county.
Right, so we're down to that point. Let's march you back into the sea. And ship you up to... Can I in fact raid this province? Let's find out about this. What about Finnmark? Can I raid Finnmark? I could probably raid Finnmark. Right, okay, so probably can't raid Finnmark. Let's also glue you together. Do I have anyone? Literally anyone? Right, let's the wrong view. Right. I can't besiege anything any good. Let's just check in on Orkney. What about Faroes? What about Shetland? Right. No, everywhere is full of too many people. Right, well, let's see if that propitiates my lot. Let's try and ship them home and see if that gets me anything. At least, like, them not complaining would be a start.
It may of course cost you more to keep the army raised than it does that you get from raiding them.
Yeah, but it's losing me gold, not prestige. Right. Hooray!
Right, yes, I've never seen this because I've never done it by sea. So
Profit.
they brought back 2.99 gold.
At 2.99 prestige.
Oh,
Oh,
attracted more warriors.
is
so you
more
might,
tax.
might now find you have an additional army.
I've got like another like 60 people or something. Right, let's disband you temporarily. Until you next whinge. so that I've got a chance for some of my vassals. Okay. It looked like I briefly had 490 vassals, but levies, but now I don't. Oh well, states. I think more of the story is, if you want to do this, start as West Iceland next time.
Well, I mean, what I did in East Africa around this point in the game was mostly ingratiate all of my sons and daughters into the neighbouring realms in an attempt at reaching the point of actually being able to inherit them into mine, which worked some of the time.
Yeah, well, currently I have one son who, I married partly for things. Do you have a grandson? How hopeless is my grandson? Okay. It's not possible to tell how hopeless my grandson is. But, he's not like an idiot or anything like that, so hooray. I can't help but feel that I should have rather more plaited hair. Yes, I think technically, of course, we probably shouldn't raise many runestones in Ireland on the grounds that in Iceland, rather, on the grounds that I don't think we found any. I think the most we found is some rune sticks.
So yes, it looks like, without giving too much away, a runestone is a way to take money and convert it into prestige.
Right. So I've got 112 prestige. Can I... Oh no, I need like a squillion prestige to do anything.
I think there's something you could build with 100.
Yeah, I can build a housecarl training ground 1. Right. Let's build housecarl training ground 1. It costs me 100 prestige, but will get me more stuff. I have a feeling this game is going to be kind of doomed in that I will end up being subsumed into some Christian kingdom and being swamped, but we'll see what happens. Yes, this hints in the sagas of some kind of magic that was involved with writing runes on things and putting them down in important places. Obviously, of course, all of the surviving Icelandic sagas, the sort of standard family sagas, are written again in that 13th century time. Alright, so we can hold a great blot. What does that do? That loses me 50 gold. And... yeah, let's wait until I have slightly more money. And maybe I build a thing town first, market town. So let's just check how some of my mates are doing. Oh dear, I'm ill. That's great, good. That's going to be fine. Just fine. So my problem is going to be having enough troops to, to do anything good. Oh, I'm up to 523 troops. Oh no, that's down. I had 546 for a bit. Oh dear. I've got pneumonia. Yay.
Well, you are going and living in Iceland.
I am living in Iceland. It was warmer back then. You know, we were in the midst of hooray! I'm nearly not pneumonic anymore. Right, hooray! I'm nearly stressed.
You were stressed already, though.
Oh yeah, I was stressed beforehand. Yeah. So. Missed wand. Okay, my levies are rising again now that I'm no longer sick, because that was depressing my... Hurrah! Right, we have built the housecarl training ground. Woohoo, go us. That'll take our levies up to 572. Woo. Which isn't really enough to do anything with because I still can't besiege anywhere. I really need to think of ways of getting my prestige up so that I can get up to 500 and raise myself an army and go and kill Norway. So what's my son? He doesn't have any ambitions. Can I suppose I could give him chieftain, but I don't think that's going to work right.
No, because you're a chief as well until you can get a duchy.
Indeed.
You can't have any. You essentially can't have any vassals.
Yeah. Right, I've been at peace too long again. Right, off we go. Where's my army?
Yes, if you have your whichever person is steward set to organising raids, then they will produce raiding armies occasionally. One of them, Marshall, has organised raid. I'm not sure whether, which means that they occasionally spit out a small army which you can then take raiding, maybe joining it up with a bigger one. I'm not sure if this is better or worse than having invading troops, mind.
Let's nip round to the next county, pick up some troops. I'll glue my troops together before we leave, declare that we're glue, loot, embark. Let's just check what the is. Alright, let's go there. You lot. Hello. You lot. I want to go to Orkney. It's going to be great there. Right. Oh my god, I can actually besiege something and everything.
And there's a reasonable amount of loot it looks like available for the taking anyway.
Yes. But, also, if I can...
And then you get the graphic of what happens when you loot it, when you raid a.
So we've now got maximum thing there. I'm nibbling away at the defenders bit by bit. Right, ooh, hooray, we got a victory there. Oops. Hooray, we looted some stuff. Let's try looting. Let's so I can loot a little bit more by.
And note the village is now burnt down, or burning down anyway.
Yes.
So I think that means you don't get anything by besieging
Persisting.
the remaining place, but I'm not entirely sure.
I think that looks like it. I think that looks like a fine opportunity to wade back into the sea. Right, let's just see if there's any other viable looting targets anywhere in the fair. Vicinity, I don't think. Everywhere else has terrible ratio. Right, so I think we take our party, we've raided one county and we got some stuff. So I think we hooray, I gained 14.46 gold and 14.47 points power 0.61 prestige. Hooray! That's very prestigious of us. Right, I think I might start to build a market village and see if we can get some more cash eventually. So I can create training grounds, which at least gets me 15. So, and 15 is more than 2.5% of like 200, so don't really need more ships yet. So war camp will be good. So that's 40 light infantry. Alright. Okay. Well, it turns out I'm turning into some kind of snooze or so I'm going to see if I can save and stop for the night. Crucially not at a year boundary, just to see what happens. And to check what's going on. So, right. I think, let's try saving and quitting. Good night.